And what's the theme on this?
Junkyard. I can't use anything that's like 3D printed. It's basically what I do anyway. It's got to be off of other cars. Yeah.
Okay.
Gaslands, post-apocalyptic.
This one's talking to me.
Okay. That's the one?
I feel like this is, no, it's too easy.
What do you mean? Nothing is too easy. Have you seen the builds that I do? It's not going to look like that when it's done.
I like this one.
That one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a cartooned 57. Oh boy. Welcome back, JDC family. My name is Jay. This is my Diecast Creations channel, and today we are entering the Three Blind Mice Gaslands Division Junkyard build-off. As you can see, my girlfriend picked the casting for this build. It ended up just being a shell with no wheels or nothing. The motor I actually did find. I had used a back bumper for this car on a Volkswagen Beetle that I had done a few months back, and I had took the motor off, so I had it at my disposal, and I ended up finding it, and we ended up implementing it back into the build, so it doesn't turn out so bad. I was kind of worried when she picked that casting. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but we went to the dollar store. I found some of these little mini monster trucks, and I decided to utilize the base of the monster truck as the main fuselage for this vehicle, right? So I actually forgot to record it, and what I'm doing right here is just replicating what I did. I don't like to lie to you guys. This wasn't live. You know, I went back in and actually just cut up another one just so you could see what I did. But basically, there's a post on the front of this thing. I drill out the post, and then I had to make room for the shell of the 57. So there was this cage on the back that was just gonna hit the roof, and it wasn't gonna give us enough space. There's also a post that comes down off the back of that body that I needed to make a spot for it to attach. Right, I had to find like contact points to glue so that the base stays on the body, right? So we end up nipping out the plastic that's holding the axles. I wanted to raise it up just a little bit, and I wanted to stretch the wheelbase a little bit too, because when you look at this thing, it's a dollar store, Dollar Tree monster truck. It's just a little puny thing, it doesn't look mean. It looks cute, actually, so we needed to change the stance on this thing just a little bit without going crazy and changing wheels and all that. So it's just a little bit of extra effort that makes a huge difference in these builds, guys. So, we end up getting the axles out, and I move them just a little tiny bit. It changes the way that the car looks. It changes the way that it sits, and it makes it look like just a little bit meaner, and that's what we're looking for. So, basically, when I mocked it up, when I started looking at the body and how it was going to sit on there was a few things that got in the way. So it was the rear cage, which I'm clipping out right now. And then I needed to make a channel in that little back section for the post to sit in. So I clipped that out right here. And then the exhaust that comes off the side was in the way. So I ended up cutting that off too. And, you know, you can't be scared to do these things, guys. You can't be scared. You know, it's $1 at the Dollar Tree. You know, you could buy 5 of them and try it 5 times. You know, so I ended up cutting it off and, you know, seeing where we go. And most of the time when you wing it like that, the best things happen. You know, I don't throw anything out, though. I'll hold on to these exhaust pipes and a little cage thing, and they'll get used on something else down the road. So that all turns out good. So now we're back to the original build here. This is when I first took it apart and I put the stuff together, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, yeah, these wheels, they just, you know, it looks kind of cool, but it doesn't look big enough, and, you know, I got to do something here. I got to do something. I just don't know what it is yet, you know, and that's when I realized that I had to raise it up. But overall, I like the body on this car. I don't know what brand it is. It said Car-Toons on the trunk. So if anybody knows what that is, it looked like a tuned version of a 57, but I don't know who made it, Maisto or whatever. Just let me know in the comment section if you know. So this is the look that we end up going with here when it's jacked up just a little bit. It's got that extended wheelbase. I took the motor off just to see, you know, it's easier to mock things up when there's less things in the way. And then I had found this quad with this big plow on the front of it at the Savers thrift store, you know, and when I saw it, I grabbed it immediately because I thought that this plow would be perfect for a war rig, right? But then when I'm going through my stuff and I'm looking for junkyard bits, because you can't use anything 3D printed or aftermarket, so I'm looking for junkyard bits that you can use off of other vehicles and toys and stuff. This was just perfect. I had to use it. Like, you know, I couldn't help myself but to utilize this in this build, right? So the jet engine was on the back of that quad, right? So I took that off. These are all the parts that were on the quad. I disassembled it. It was really easy to take apart, all screwdriver stuff, so I didn't have to drill anything out. And now I'm just looking at what I can do. You know, what's gonna be what. Tacky putty is a lifesaver when it comes to this phase of the build, right? I put tacky putty on. I attach things. I don't have to glue. I'm not dedicated to any moves, right? I don't have to break anything off once I glue it on and I'm not happy with it. So I put everything on, I mock it up, I see what's what. And you see the light bar that I put on there. I end up taking that off later. It just looked like too much. It was just overkill. And that's one of the things, guys. Like, you know, you want to go outside of the box. You want to do things that are different, but you don't want to go too far sometimes because it's just like, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm looking at what I got, and I ended up grabbing a hair roller. I guess they're like for girls when they curl their hair. I had grabbed a bag of them from Dollar Tree. It's $1. You get like 8 of them, you know, but it had a nice curved grid texture to it. So I'm like, I'll use this for something eventually. And it just so happened that they were right on the top of the drawer when I opened it, and I was like, yeah, that'll work. So this shot right here is just to show you guys the chaos that happens when I'm going into a technical build like this. Everything just gets scattered, thrown. I got a whole bin of garbage parts that I had collected over the last couple weeks because I knew this was a junkyard build, right? So anything that was plastic or you know, a nice shape, I threw in a little Chinese container. And when I sat down to build, it was right there, and I had a bunch of ideas, and you know, this is how it goes, you know. But I had this other bit that I have on the trunk here. I ended up scrapping that too. It was supposed to be like a little rear gunner, tail gunner if you want to call it. But like I said, you got to find the sweet spot of what you're going for, right? So I ended up using another piece of the hair roller, and we make it like a little cage or, you know, travel rack type deal on the back on the trunk there. And everything ends up working out great. You know, everything ends up working out great. So this is all the parts that we have to work with here that we're going to end up using, minus the light bar. And now we move on to our paint phase, right? So typhus corrosion is like my go-to when it comes to the initial, you know, grimy, gritty, really dirty look, right? And that's what we're going for. I did have a skull. It was a nail art decal that I had from a pack that my girl had ordered. She got like 30 sheets for like $5 or something like that, and they're all scattered different things. One of them had a skull on it, so I slapped that on the roof. We go in with the Typhus Corrosion. I go in with some apple barrel paints. I use a little bit of black here and there, some burnt umber. Chestnut ends up going on the wheels. So I start off with burnt umber for the dirt look on the bottom of the car here, and then we go in with the chestnut and we do a overbrushing technique, which is basically dry brushing but with a loaded brush, right? And you just add that on to create mud. Like this thing was, off-road, going through puddles and dirt and this, that, and the other thing. And then I go in with light mocha, which is the sand effect that I use, the dust and whatever. And this is how it ends up. This is all the pieces of the puzzle. This is the car that we started out with. It's a car-tuned 57 Chevy with a blown motor on the front end with open headers. It's got a really nice exaggerated look to it. Like I said, if anybody knows who made this, leave it down in the comments. But we made the best out of it, and this is what we transformed it into. I don't know. I don't even know what it's called. So if somebody's got a name, drop that in the comments too, I love the way that this thing turned out. It's got armor on the sides. Nobody's going to scale up the side of this thing. It's got a jet engine in the back with a plow on the front, monster truck tires there. Nothing's getting in the way of this thing. It's got a huge motor, plenty of horsepower, and it's going to run through anything it comes across in the Wasteland, The challenge was a junkyard build, right? And to build what your car would be if you were in the apocalypse. Now, would this be my car? I don't know, but I'd be happy to drive it. I'll tell you that much. Nothing's going to mess with you. You're going to run over everything, and you're going to, plow anything that's in your way out of the way, right? The other reason why I didn't add any guns or anything, I had a subscriber suggest that I go into the rule book and read what's best for which builds, and I had learned that with monster trucks, the best thing to do is just add a plow, let it roll over everything, and call it a day. So that was that, guys. Now we're going to jump into a new thing that I'm doing. It's going to be called the Community Spotlight. On every single build video that I do, I'm going to try to incorporate a builder that did something recently that caught my eye, right? And it's going to be my subscribers. This is my way of giving back. So somebody that's been with me and been watching all my videos and commenting on everything and has really became one of my favorite channels to watch is James Hewitt over at Hewitt's Hot Wheels. He did his first Gaslands build just a few weeks ago. James doesn't enter any competitions or build offs or anything. He does all of this for fun and, just to share with his subscribers. But I felt that if he was to enter into this this Three Blind Mice thing, this would have been the perfect build to do it, right? It's a Mustang that had a little booger on it in the case, so he didn't want to showcase the car, and he decided this was going to be the first Gaslands build that he ever attempted, and I think he knocked it out of the park. He put live suspension on this thing. You put your finger on it, it bounces up and down. It's got all the little tail gunner pieces and this, that, and the other thing. He killed it. He really killed it, guys. He's got a website. He sells Hot Wheels for like $2 or $3 so that you don't get scalped on eBay. And go check it out. I'll leave the link in the description, and go check out Hewitt and tell him I sent you. Tell him the JDC family's in the house. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.